Hello viewers, a very warm welcome back to EduFlux. In this video, I am going to share my analysis of the electrical engineering GATE 2024 paper. As a whole and subject wise also, I will try to share my analysis based on my observations of the paper. So let's start. In my opinion, this year's paper 2024 paper was moderate to tough. It was quite lengthy for those aspirants who are not having good practice. They might find it difficult to cover all the questions or go through all the questions once. So it was quite lengthy, so to say, not that tough but lengthy. So that makes the overall difficulty level, in my opinion, moderate to tough. It will be an average scoring paper, not as low scoring as 2023, but not as high scoring as 2022 also. So in between maybe. Toppers marks can be expected in the range 75 to 80 maybe, and good marks would be 50 plus for this paper, and to expect MTech to get admission MTech in old IITs, I think 60 would be for general category. 55 to 60 would be a safe score. That would fetch a grade score of maybe say 750, 800, and for PSUs the cutoff may go a little bit higher, like 60 plus maybe, or 55 plus at least. So you can judge your performance based on what I am saying, because I have some experience in this regard. So that is what I would say about the overall difficulty level and the scoring pattern of the candidates in this paper, probable scoring pattern of the candidates in this paper. Now let's start with the analysis of subject-wise analysis of the paper. So first of all, I would like to start with the subjects which had the least priority, means minimum number of questions, minimum number of marks, to higher priority. So here goes the analysis. I would like to do it on the whiteboard. Please have a look. So GATE electrical engineering, 65 questions as usual. 65 questions are there in GATE paper. Okay. At the least priority there was measurements. Okay, I would like to mark those subjects with the least priority with green color. So number one, least priority was measurements. It had only two questions. One question was from wattmeter connections, and another question was from CT and PT basics theory. So it had 1 plus 1. So two questions, and marks was 3 marks. So it was easy. And most of the aspirants could solve the questions, in my opinion. Okay. Next, coming on to the next subject, which has a little bit higher priority than measurements in terms of marks, was EMFT. So at number 2 we have EMFT, electromagnetic field theory. It had two questions of 2 marks. One was from charges, basics of maybe class 12 electrostatics, and another was from that spherical distribution, spherical coordinates. So there were 0 plus 2. First I am writing the 1 mark question marks, number of questions for 1 marks that came for 1 marks. second number of questions that came for 2 marks. So there were 2 questions of 4 marks. It was also on the easy, provided you remember the formula for spherical coordinates, and the charge distribution question was also very easy, like basic electrostatics. Nothing to remember, just apply electric field formula or Coulomb's law, and you would solve it. Next, coming on to the subjects which had little bit higher priority were analog and digital. For those also I will mark in green because they also had not that many questions. So next priority comes digital electronics. It had 3 questions of 1 mark each. So I am writing 3 plus 0. That is 3 questions. Total marks 3. Easy. One question I think was from multiplexer. Another question was from K-map something, minimizing the expression, and another question I think was from that flip-flop. So 2 combinatorial and 1 sequential. So it was also on the easier side. Anyone who had a good preparation could easily attempt it and get it right. So that was easy 3 marks for you all, aspirants. So next, coming on to the next subject, which is analog electronics. I am also marking that in green because that was also didn't have that many questions. 3 questions only came, and the difficulty level was also on the easier side. So analog electronics. So analog electronics. Yeah, so analog electronics had 3 questions of 2 marks each. So 3 questions of 6 marks. Those were also easy. Analog, there was one question based on diodes. Another question was based on CMRR, on mode rejection ratio, that was in dB you had to calculate. That was a bit lengthy. And another question was from BJT, biasing circuit. So all the 3 questions were easy. CMRR was a bit lengthy calculation wise, but other 2 were very easy. So one was MCQ, see that BJT biasing one, and one was NAT, and 2 were NAT. The diode was, one was NAT, and that was also NAT, the CMRR one. So done. Next subject was control systems. Yeah, or say network theory. Okay. 5. Network theory I am marking in blue because it had from this group as compared to this group, it has a slightly higher weightage, and 5 questions came from network. So let me write it in blue. Network theory had 3 plus 2 questions. 3 questions of 1 mark and 2 questions of 2 marks. 3 questions of 1 mark were quite easy ones, like the number of junctions were asked. One question was tricky, of 1 mark also, like the power delivered with the 10-volt source. That was a bit tricky. So the questions were easy, on the easier side, network. And the one was from time constant was asked. That was those were 3 questions of 1 mark and 2 marks. One was based on coupling circuit. Another was based on the beta of of a 2-port circuit. 2 2-port circuits are connected in cascade, and you had to calculate the beta of the cascade combination. So that was a bit calculative if you don't remember the formula. But the coupling one also was a bit calculative, but that was quite easy. Like the effective resistance was asked as seen from the source. So Both the questions were on the easier side only, but still for the sake of say time, I mean again exam pressure, let's call it, that was moderate, because it was difficult to complete the calculations fast. 2 ports and coupled circuit, that was a bit lengthy, and 1 mark questions were easy. So 3 plus 2, 5 questions, and the number of marks was 3 plus 2 into 2, that is 7. I would say moderate. Now coming on to the next subject, which had little bit higher weightage or almost same weightage as network, or maybe a bit more weightage than network. Number of questions was same, but the number of marks was higher. That is surprisingly one of the core subjects electrical engineering, and that is, I'll mark it in blue again, electrical machines. Okay. Hope it's visible out there. So electrical machines had reverse of this 3 plus 2, that 2 plus 3. So 2 plus 3, 5 questions, but the marks was 2 plus 3 into 2, that is 8. Level was easy. Electrical machines questions were from, I think, in 3 marks, 2 marks questions. Questions were one from synchronous generator, one question was asked. Another question was from DC machine, like that. Yeah. And in 1 mark, I think question was from question was on the easier side only. Should have to check. Yeah, sorry. The question was from that transformer circuit, the dot polarity you have to recognize, and one question was from induction machine in 1 mark, and in 2 marks the questions were from synchronous generator and DC machines, right? So it was a bit calculative, but the questions were easy, not that tricky or tough to answer. So aspirants who had a good practice of calculations could easily do it, in my opinion. So easy. Next, coming on to the next subject, which had a little bit higher priority than machines also, was say maybe control system. Okay, control system. Yeah. 7 comes. I will mark it in blue as well, because this belongs to a second group which had moderate weightage, like not very high, not very low as well. So control systems. Control systems, the questions were quite good this time. There were total of 3 plus 3 equal to 6 questions of 3 plus 3 into 2, that's 9 marks. The question was, I would say, moderate to tough. Moderate. Okay. In the 3 1 mark questions, we had one question from settling time, that plot of poles was given. One question was from approximating the time constant and finding the what is the resultant transfer function. There was s plus 40 by s plus 20 and some other transfer function was there. In cascade they were connected, and the dominant pole concept had to be used. That was easy. And another question was from settling time, that was also okay. Another question was from block diagram, GS by 2gs minus 1 minus something like that is the answer. That was also quite easy, like basics of block diagram algebra you have to do to solve it. So those 3 questions are easy, but the other 3 questions, one question was from, in 2 marks questions, one question was from root locus, that was easy, angle of departure. Other 2 questions were a little bit tricky, like the steady state error was asked to ramp input. That is basically also very typical, like kind of a question. 1 by kV it is, 1 by limit s tends to 0 s into gs. That you have to calculate from the Bode plot. Bode plot was not given, but the characteristics or the description of the Bode plot was given, like what slope it had up to what 90 degree or minus 90 degree up to some frequency, and slope was also given of the asymptotic Bode plot. You have to derive the transfer function and put the values to get the final, I mean the s into gs, limit s tends to 0. That expression, value of that expression, you have to find by writing the transfer function and from the Bode plot and then finding the answer. And another question was from another question was from that frequency response. All that was also from Bode plot. Frequency response you have to calculate. I mean the phase margin was given 50 degree, and there was 2 systems in the open loop and with the unity feedback. In the forward path there were 2 systems. One was Ki by S and another was Gs. So Gs, the frequency response was given. You have to find out what to say, that value of, I think, Ki, for which the phase margin is 50 degree. That was also a bit tricky. I mean, you have to put the frequencies correctly, and that was very easy, but you could have answered it just by looking at the question. That's it. Means after by one step calculation, the virtual calculator, you could do that if you knew the, I mean, you were thorough with the basics and could have good practice of Bode plot, frequency response corresponding to the Bode plot. So control system, I would like to say moderate. Next, the next higher priority subject was one of the core subjects of electrical engineering, which is power systems. So I would like to mark that in red because it has higher priority. One category is easy subjects, I mean lower priority subjects, medium priority subjects, now higher priority subjects. Higher priority subjects are those I have categorized, like those are carrying double digit marks, mean 10 marks and higher. So let's start. And this is for the higher priority subjects. The higher priority subjects, number 1 comes power systems. Let's mark this blank for the convention. Power systems, the questions are quite good level. There were a total of 6 questions of 2 plus 4. 2 1 mark questions and 4 2 marks questions. So that makes it 2 plus 4 into 2. That is 6 questions of 10 marks. Level was moderate to tough in my opinion. In 1 mark questions, the questions were quite tricky. Like both questions were tricky. One question was from that opening the branch, which branch opening will be most economical. So you have to calculate the losses corresponding to the opening of different branches, to add the I square R losses and compare. I think B3 branch was the opening, B3 branch would be most economical. Another question was from economic load dispatch. That was also quite unique type of question. You might not have solved that type of question before. Like you have to think right in the exam hall. I mean, you have to apply your presence of mind or say common sense, technical common sense, engineering common sense to solve that. And another, and 2 marks questions. Also the questions were a bit lengthy, I would say. 2 marks questions. One question was from that equal area criterion, accelerating power, decelerating, decelerating area. Those things were there. Another question was from let me check this a bit. Yeah, the questions were tricky. I mean, one was from AGC, automatic generation control, and AVR. That was theoretical question based on theoretical knowledge. If you had good theoretical knowledge, then you could have solved it correctly. That was MSQ question. Another question was from that sequence. Two-phase system. Two-phase system. That question I think may be wrong, like because in two-phase question the system the voltages are out of phase by 90 degrees. But there are no such options in that corresponding to that question. That is also an MSQ question. Another question was from that powers you have to relate. I mean, based on the powers you have to relate the reactances of the three lines. There was 3-bus system. There was no power flowing from bus 1 to bus 2. P1 is given as NP2, and you have to calculate the relation between the reactances in that gamma and alpha and beta and all those things. So that was also quite a good question in my opinion. Like you have to apply your technical skills to solve it. And apart from that, there was another question. Yeah. So that's more or less all, right? There was another question from that makes it 3 questions, 3 and 4 questions. Yeah, that's done. So 2 plus 4, that is 2 plus 8 marks, 10 marks. Power systems analysis I have done. I have discussed the difficulty level and the kind of questions that came. Let's move on to the next subject. Next higher priority subject, which is power electronics or signals. Signals and systems and power electronics had the same equal weightage this time, surprisingly. So, but as signal systems is non-core subject, I would like to mention it first and discuss it. Okay, so running out of space. So, this also as a high priority subject, I am writing it in red. So please note that. सिग्नल्स एंड सिस्टम्स में इस बार क्या हुआ, क्वेश्चंस हर तरह से मतलब हर तरह के क्वेश्चंस आए, अच्छा क्वेश्चंस कुछ थे, कुछ थोड़ा सिंपल भी थे, लेकिन ज़्यादातर अच्छे थे मेरे हिसाब से. तो 3 plus 4, तो दैट मीन्स 3 plus 4 into 2, दैट इज 11 marks. 7 questions of 11 marks. That is also in my opinion tough. Three questions. One question was from that Fourier transform properties. One question was from. Another question was from Laplace transform properties, the convergence concept, Laplace transform. And another question. Yeah, another question was from Fourier transform. Another question was from time reversal. Time reversal. One more question was there. Xt and x of minus t, odd signal, causal signal, all those things, even signal, anti-causal signal, all the options were there. and those were 3 1 mark questions. One was that question, another was from convergence of Laplace transform, another was from Fourier transform properties, derivative of omega derivative of Fourier transform at omega equal to 0. And from 2 marks questions, one was from Biot stability, discrete time question, discrete time system was given, x0 plus x1 plus x2 dot xn, and another system was x0 plus x1 by 2 plus x2 by 2 square dot dot. It was a bit tricky question, but like if you add the basic idea of convergence of a discrete time series, then you could have solved it correctly. And another question was from a linear nonlinear system. I mean that a linear time invariant time variant that e to the power minus t, that question was there. It was a bit tricky also in my opinion. And another question was from Z transform properties, like y of n is given as x of 2n, you have to find y of z in terms of x of z. So that was based on the properties of Fourier transform, but that was a bit, unconventional property. We don't study that usually often, so you might have faced a bit difficulty in solving that correctly. And so another question was from energy of a signal. That was pretty easy, of 2 marks. It was quite scoring, but the other 3 questions in my opinion were a bit tricky in 2 marks. And in 1 mark also, as I discussed, Fourier transform, Laplace transform, and time reversal. So total 7 questions. In my opinion, it is tough because in the exam pressure you tend to make mistakes in those kind of tricky questions. So that's it. That's one more subject is left. The most toughest. It is considered the toughest in electrical engineering, and it has also many things to remember and many concepts to learn, which is also had the same priority, surprisingly, as signal system. So it is power electronics. Okay. I am also marking in red because it was an important subject this time, as usual. Power electronics had how many questions? Same as I said, 3 plus 4. That makes it 7 questions of 11 marks, and difficulty level was tough in my opinion. In 3 1 mark questions, the questions were from, one was from chopper, commutation, resonant commutation and all. It was, one question was there. Another question was from single phase track, at what angle it has to be switched on for proper commutation, for proper switching. And another question was from which is the fastest device. That is very easy. That is power MOSFET, highest switching frequency. In 2 marks questions, one of the questions was from the drives part. Several excited motor was given. You have to find the firing angle. Another question was from the ratio of the RMS current of fundamental to RMS current of the total current. That is a typical kind of question that is asked. And other 2 questions were from, just a minute. Sorry. Another question was from VSI, voltage source inverter, and another was from chopper. Basic chopper was given, boost chopper was given. You have to find the peak current that flows through inductor, peak inductor current. Peak inductor current is basically what? Average inductor current is average inductor current. That is found by power conservation, plus you have to add the delta IL by 2, means the half of the peak current. So peak inductor current. So that was an easy question, very typical question from chopper. And so for power electronics, I would say the questions were okay, like not that tough also, but looking at the situation, I mean the exam pressure and all, we can say it to be tough, because there were all the questions were mostly the questions were numerical answer type, so there are many chances of making mistakes in those questions, na. So we can call it tough, on the tougher side. So that makes it all the subjects other than maths and aptitude. On maths and aptitude also I would like to discuss. Just a minute. Yeah, maths and aptitude also I will have to discuss. Maths, the most important subject, second most important subject that came in electrical engineering paper of 2024 was, as usual, as the marks is already decided by GATE organizing committee. It is no space left. There is little space left. That of course has to be in red. Engineering maths. Engineering maths had 5 plus 4 questions. That makes it 5 plus 4 into 2, that is 13 marks. 9 questions, 13 marks. Difficulty level was moderate to tough. In 1 mark questions, the questions were from matrices. Matrix 1 question was there. Then questions were from discrete random variable, matrix, inverse exists or not, then eigenvalues. 1 question was there, another question was there from complex function, and another question was there from which of the functions is analytic. One question was there from the Taylor series expansion. Another question was from sum of eigenvalues. Another question was from which of the following matrices is invertible. And another question was from these such topics only. Yeah. So inversion of matrices, that question was easy because you had to find the similar rows, like integral multiples of each other. The rows which are integral multiples of each other, the matrices in which the rows are integral multiples of each other will have determinant 0, so those will be non-invertible straight away. And the others, only one that was an MCQ question, so that could be answered. The second one was from discrete random variable. That was a bit tricky one. Like if you have the basic idea of discrete random variable distribution, so you will be able to answer that. Otherwise, it's a bit tricky. That was an MSQ question. It's quite tough to get it correct. So other questions were simple from complex plane analytic function. That was easy. Taylor series, eigenvalues. So that's quite basic. Should be able to answer them correctly. So that makes it a bit moderate because the questions were, some calculations were there, but not that much also because the questions were of 1 mark. Next, coming to 2 marks questions, there were 4 2 marks questions. So one question was from a linear non-linear system. That was pretty easy. Like you had to find out which of the systems was linear based on the differential equation given. Other questions were from directional derivative. That was also quite easy, very easy, in the direction of certain vector. That is quite easy. Directional derivative 1, easy. Then you had two questions were based on the basics of calculus, derivative and second derivative and all those things. So those were also basic. You got the basic knowledge and grip over functions in plus 2, class 12. Then you would be able to answer it. Max of function was given, that one was there. Then one function was given whose second derivative is always positive. So those things were there. So that was also quite a good question. Those questions are quite good, quite tricky, I would say. Those two questions especially. And other directional derivative one was easy. And non-linear system, linear non-linear, that was also quite easy. So two questions easy or say moderate, and two questions were tough. So overall I would like to say moderate to tough. Total for 9 questions, getting 13 marks. Now let's come on to the last but the most important subject for GATE. And the weightage for that subject is apparently fixed every year, and that subject is none other than, no space actually, let me still write it, general aptitude. 5 plus 5, weightage is fixed every year. That means it 10 questions of 15 marks. That was also, in my opinion, moderate to tough. Or moderate, not tough, because some questions are easy. In English, many questions came. One question was based on relating the words, like intensity increases, that talk, scream and all, shout. And so you have to please, it was given please dash pander. So that will be flatter. Flatter means to please someone to a higher degree. Then please, it is of higher intensity. That means to praise someone, often for some material benefit. But anyway, that was good question, is in common sense. Another question was one, that row shopkeeper question, that was based on basic preposition. So if someone has good knowledge in preposition, then he will be able to answer it correctly. And other questions were from, one question was from, in 2 marks, one question was from data interpretation, millennials and all, general something like that. Trend increases, decreases, fuel consumption, everything was given in the graph. Another question was from surveyor, you have to find the distance between the points, like that, in 2 points A and B. And another question was from shopkeeper, that profit and loss, taxes was also included. That was pretty simple. 18% taxes, it is after sold at some 3186 what was given, and you have to find the cost price. Okay. Another question was from octal number system, that was also quite easy. In 2 marks questions, other questions were from that rotational system, like rack and pinion one, which one will rotate in which direction. That question was also quite easy. And another question was based on that general aptitude, that position of objects, and 2 persons are there, P and Q, with their beds. P wants to sit near the fan and Q wants to sit at the table and watch outside. That was also quite easy. And the question was from rhombus. In my opinion, that question is a bit wrong, numerically. So that should have been marks to all, but IIT has unfortunately not considered it. What can be done? It is their choice after all. So I think I am done with all. So yeah, now I have a question. The last question was from ratio thing. Ratio have to find x is to y. So that was also pretty easy. X square plus minus y square by x square plus y square, something like that. So overall, that is the analysis. So that makes it 2 plus 2, 4 plus 4, 3, 7, 7 plus 3, 10, 10 plus 5, 15, 15 plus 5, 20, 20 plus 6, 26, 26 plus 6, 32, 32 plus 7, 39, 39 plus 7 is 46, 46 plus, sorry, 39 plus 7 is 46, yeah. 46 plus 9 is 55, 55 plus 10 is 65 questions, and marks are 3 plus 4, 7, 7 plus 3, 10, 10 plus 6, 16, 16 plus 7, 23, 23 plus 8, 31, 31 plus 9, 40, 40 plus 10, 50, 50 plus 11, 61, 61 plus 13, 11, 72, 72 plus 13, 85, 85 plus 15, 100. So the paper, as usual, it was quite balanced, but surprisingly quite a considerable marks came from signal systems, and yet the same weightage as power electronics. Power systems also had good weightage, and control systems had higher weightage in electrical machines, surprisingly. And remaining subjects, these green subjects were the lower priority subjects. Then the blue subjects were medium priority subjects, and the red subjects were high priority subjects based on the marks distribution. So in my opinion, the paper was not that much conceptual this time, but it was tricky and lengthy. I mean, the numerical calculations were there in many of the questions, and some questions were tricky. So overall, the difficulty level of the paper, in my opinion, would be moderate to tough, as I mentioned at the starting. And good marks would be in the range 50 plus or 55 plus. And for IITs, gold IITs, in on-demand branches you should get 50 plus 55, and for PSUs 55 plus is the safe range of marks, and for PSUs I think 60 plus for the general category. So this was my detailed analysis. This time I thought of analyzing it properly using whiteboard, marker, and whatever experience I have in this field, so that it helps aspirants. Hope you liked the video, got some idea about how the GATE 2024 electrical paper was actually, and what can the mark distribution be, and how to prepare and how to proceed with the preparation for the upcoming years if you are targeting in further attempts in the future. So hope this video was really helpful and informative, with some insights based on my experience and after analysis of the proper analysis of the paper. आशा करता हूँ आप लोगों को कुछ फ़ायदा हुआ होगा इस पेपर को देख के, इस एनालिसिस को देख के। मैंने थोड़ा टाइम देकर इसको बनाने का सोचा, कोशिश किया, पता नहीं कैसा हुआ, आप लोग बता पाएंगे। मैं तो उतना अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस, इतना अच्छा ये भी नहीं है, अभ्यास प्रैक्टिस भी नहीं है वाइट बोर्ड पे, तो कोशिश किया फिर मैंने। आशा करता हूँ आप लोगों को अच्छा लगा हो, इससे फ़ायदा मिलेगा। कुछ डाउट्स या क्वेरीज है तो प्लीज़ मुझे मैसेज कर सकते हैं, नहीं तो इस वीडियो के कमेंट सेक्शन में प्लीज़ फील फ्री टू आस्क योर डाउट्स इन द कमेंट सेक्शन. So that's all for this video. Thank you.